All right, so welcome back, everyone, for another deep dive. It's funny, the stuff we end up talking about on this show, like today's topic.
Mm.
Well, it's this idea that, get this, opposition is actually good for you, like actually important for growing as a person.
Oh, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. We've got those excerpts, right, from that "Is opposition necessary to boost your growth" article.
Yeah, exactly. That's the one. And, the more I think about it, the more it makes sense in a way.
Right, and like the article doesn't sugarcoat it either. It straight up says opposition can be uncomfortable. Whether, challenges, criticism, people disagreeing with you.
Yeah, for sure. And this is what I find interesting, is like that discomfort, maybe that's how we know we're actually pushing ourselves. Like if everything's easy peasy, are we really learning and growing?
That's a good point. And it's kind of what the article digs into, like when we face opposition, we have to actually think about our beliefs and what we're doing.
Oh, I see. So like if someone's questioning our approach, we can't just cruise on autopilot anymore.
Exactly. You got to explain yourself, defend your reasoning. And, sometimes in that process, you realize, hey, maybe I was wrong. Or even, wow, my idea is even stronger than I thought.
Hmm, that's a really good point. It's kind of like, what's that saying? Iron sharpens iron. If we're always surrounded by people who agree with us, how do we actually get better?
Right. Like, where's the challenge in that?
Exactly. But okay, let me ask you this. Do you have any like real life examples of this where opposition led to something good, maybe from your own work?
Oh, absolutely. Early in my career, I was designing a website layout. Thought it was fantastic. But when I showed it to the team, oof, they did not hold back. The criticism was rough, really tough to hear, but it forced me to take a step back and really think about it from the user's point of view.
I bet.
So I ended up, completely changing the whole design, and guess what? It was way better, easier to use, more effective, everything. And honestly, that whole experience was a huge lesson.
What was the lesson if you had to put it in like one sentence?
Don't get too attached to your first idea and be open to feedback, even when it stings a little.
Makes sense. And it sounds like that opposition actually helped you become a better designer overall, more adaptable.
100%. And this actually ties into another point the article makes, this link between opposition and innovation. Like, think about big historical inventions. Printing press, for example,
Yeah, that was huge.
changed everything. But, back then, the people who made money from hand-copied books, they were totally against it. Huge opposition. But the printing press, it revolutionized how knowledge was spread. It was the start of mass communication.
So what you're saying is opposition isn't just about us getting better at something. It can actually change society, lead to real innovation.
Exactly. And for our listeners, this means maybe challenges are actually a good thing. What if, instead of avoiding them, we actually look for healthy ways to challenge ourselves?
Huh. Like as a way to train ourselves to be more resilient, to handle anything.
Precisely.
So then if opposition is so important, how do we actually, embrace it in our lives? What are some things people can do?
Well, start small, right? Maybe it's asking for feedback on a project, even if you think it's perfect. Or, having a real conversation with someone who sees things differently than you do. Not to argue, but to actually understand their perspective.
Those are really good, concrete things anyone can try. It sounds like it all starts with like a change in our mindset, right? Instead of being scared of challenges, we see them as chances to grow, even if it's a little uncomfortable.
Exactly. Pushing past your comfort zone, because when you approach opposition in the right way, it can totally change things for the better.
Well, I got to say, this deep dive has given me a lot to think about. Like, we usually say that at the end, but this time I really mean it. It's kind of flipped the script on how I view challenges. They're not the enemy. They're more like,
A secret weapon.
yeah, a secret weapon for growth and innovation and all that good stuff.
And the best part is the more you embrace those challenges, the easier it gets. You actually get more comfortable with being uncomfortable, if that makes
It
sense.
does. It does. So for everyone listening, think about this. Where in your life could you use a little bit of healthy opposition? It might be the key to achieving something amazing. Who knows? Keep learning, keep pushing yourselves, and until next time, keep on diving deep.